Hello, welcome to Let's Talk NFL with Rick and Jack. Unfortunately, Jack had an emergency. His son got sick at school, and he had to go leave quickly, and he's not going to be with us today to pick him up, so we wish a good friend Jack and his family well. I'm lucky to have a couple of very esteemed, handicappers, prognosticators, gamblers. Mr. Dennis Van, welcome.
Thank you.
How's the world of gambling going?
I'm hanging in there. Definitely positive for the year. So
good. How's your sites doing? You're giving out lots of winners to people?
Well, so far up about 30 units in my free picks this year.
You hear that, audience? He's doing well. And our other esteemed guest, Mr. Ken Sidley, we call him the Phantom. The reason we call him the Phantom, he makes these strategic bets, makes his money, and gets out and goes on to the next thing. So, Mr. Ken Sidley, the Phantom, Mr. Dennis Van, thank you guys for being with us. As you know, this is my funnest time of the year, playoffs, because I believe, and I think you guys believe the same thing, it's an opportunity to make some really great money. The fun thing about this weekend is, and it's a big change, and I'm sure all of you know this, we got 2 games on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and 1 on Monday. So I know as a professional gambler or people that gamble on sports, it gives you the opportunity to continue to advance your money every day. You don't have to worry about 6 or 7 or 8 games. You concentrate on 2 games Saturday, you win, you do what you take it, you move it to Sunday, and then if you've done real well on Sunday, you bet it all on Monday. That's how I'm going to play. That's how I'm going to play. I'm not going to hesitate. And so however you guys play is great, but one of the things I wanted to ask both of you, very, very professional NFL bettors, is that one of the things that I'm interested in, what are your thoughts on what's happened in the coaching game? Are you surprised? Are you not surprised?
Let go?
Yeah. Let go. Should have been let go.
I think the only surprise for me is Bowles in Miami.
Me too. I was surprised. I thought Todd Bowles is a very good coach, and I had the same surprise. How about you, Ken?
About the same. The one that I'm waiting to hear, and I haven't heard, on Detroit. Have they done anything yet in Detroit?
That's really a good point, and he's still there. And the guy is one of the most motivational people I've ever seen. The way they lose games. Yeah.
And the one thing I always look forward to is
Dan Campbell, right?
Yeah. Is that a name?
Yeah.
Is it okay? Well,
yeah.
The thing I'm looking for is a guy who's coming up. The Lions covered a lot of games this year, but didn't win.
They lost tough games.
And at the end, and whatever the case, but that. You look at, he's got those kids playing the full game. That's what it's all about. You play the full game, and they're doing their best.
They just named him and the Jets coach Salam, I believe, to be the coaches for the college
East-West game.
East-West. So I'm sure he'll stick around. And
good.
The guy in the Jets is Robert Saleh. If you all don't know, he was a great defensive coordinator at the 49ers and was a great defensive coach. And they're not going to let him go. It was his first year. There's a lot of rubble there. There's a lot that happened. That organization fell apart. But Robert's a very good coach, and I'm not surprised they didn't get rid of him. The biggest snafu of the whole year of any owner was hiring Urban Meyer. What a joke that was. The guy is not equipped for the NFL, and he should have been thrown out of Ohio State with the incident that happened there, and he hung on, and they gave him a slap on the hand. But I was disappointed in that hire, and I was really disappointed in the way he really did a very poor job.
Well, I think there was that right out of the box when he brought the coach in from Iowa.
Yeah,
whether that's
the strength coach,
good or bad.
Yeah.
But then you also saw them turn on him over Tim Tebow, which I never understood why people hate Tim Tebow. He's the nicest guy in the world.
People love to hate Tim Tebow.
And that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So then they held that against Meyer, and especially media people held that against Meyer.
Yeah.
They seem to have a particular hard-on against Tim Tebow.
Yeah, and that's strange to me. I think he's gone on and he's done fine, and he does real well on network broadcasting, and he's got a great opinion. And I think people are bothered because he's a good-looking guy or something that stays in shape. People love to hate it, and what's wrong with Tim Tebow? Nothing. It's like, but I'm sure some of you don't like him for whatever reason. God bless you.
He advertises his Christianity a little bit, maybe too much for people.
That could be. That's a good one, Ken. Ken, let me ask you. You have to be as surprised as we both are here. All three of us are. The way Indianapolis fell apart.
Isn't that
people were talking about them for the Super Bowl, and the way and I recall that Raider game, and I still go back to that pass to T.Y. Hilton, who was wide open. They were up in the game along the sideline, guys wide open. Wentz misses them, and the game turns, and the Raiders win.
Yep.
And then they lose this week to Jacksonville. It's like, what happened with Indianapolis? And Reich is a good coach.
I think he's a great coach.
Yeah. What happened there? Is it Wentz? Is the leadership?
I
is
think
it Carson
that guy
Wentz?
is. I put him almost with Matthew Stafford. I don't think much of Stafford.
I'm on the same page with you.
For some reason, he just doesn't seem like a winner. I know he was stuck in Detroit, but he's looked pretty. He can look pretty boneheaded.
I mean, Wentz is. I mean, that last game he had 2 interceptions and a fumble, and it's like I can't believe it. And they're on this Hard Knocks show. I don't know if you watch it on HBO. It's a great show. It's called In Season. If you haven't seen it, it's really great. It's on every week, and it's the first time that HBO had ever Hard Knocks has done a show in season. I think they jinxed them because most teams that are on Hard Knocks fall apart. But that was surprising to me. But leading up to this weekend, what do you two think the main ingredient is that makes a great team? I'll tell you mine right off the bat, and then I want to get your feelings. I feel a great coach and a great quarterback are the big difference in every single team that's in these playoffs, and I feel that way every year. Ken, how do you feel about that?
You can't argue that point. You got to have your quarterback who's got to be solid.
And a leader.
And a leader, a team leader. And when you take a look at the teams that are there, you got that. Yeah. You got that working for you. And the coaching with it. What happened with Indianapolis is all right here. It happened. They played that game between the ears and they lost it.
Terrible. Dennis, what's the ingredients you feel? I mean, you really you do a lot of stats and you break things down. You're a real analytical guy. And what do your analytics tell you the winning ingredient in the playoffs is?
Well, I definitely believe the coaching part. One thing I always find interesting, I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name, but he was the quarterback for Tampa when they had the great defense and they won the game. He used to do Monday Night Football analysis, and basically they used to tell him, just don't screw it up for us. Right. And they wound up winning the Super Bowl. What?
Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer, exactly. Yeah. I used to work at a place, and on Monday night I used to work with a guy from Wisconsin. And every Monday night we'd watch Dilfer, and I used to always say, hey, that's the guy that's won as many Super Bowls as Brett Favre.
Yeah.
And he used to hate me for that. I said, not only that, he didn't lose one.
Yeah, another great example is Joe Flacco in Baltimore with that great Ray Lewis defense.
Right.
And what has Flacco done since?
Nothing. Absolutely zero.
Not much. And you know, it's like, it's so funny, the great leadership at quarterback. Of course, we all, immediately think of Tom Brady and the leadership ability by that guy and how he asks other players to step up and be accountable. And what do you guys see in this playoffs that a team that in this field that we have 12 teams in all these 6 games? What stands out for you? I mean, who's standing out for you right now?
For me right now is Raiders.
Raiders? Yeah. Why?
And it just seems like they found a way to start winning. Now the coach, he just came in mid-season, whatever the case is, Bisaccia.
Yeah, Bisaccia.
And
Rich Bisaccia, good Italian boy.
He's put that team together pretty well, with all things considered. Now, how deep they're going to go, I don't know, but they're going to play good football.
But they stand out in your mind right now of all the playoff teams.
I'm going to like to watch them.
I like that. I would have to agree with you. It's 6-9. I left the Raiders for dead. I said their season's over. The Raiders are terrible. What a terrible year. There's so many problems, and they're well documented. But they got off the mat and won 3 in a row, and that's a great point that you make. What really stands out for you going into the playoffs?
Green Bay.
Gosh, how can you not like them?
Yeah. Not that he needs any motivation, but I really think Rodgers is motivated to
he's
tell a
feeling
lot
it.
of people to stick it.
So true. He's taken a beating this year. He's taken a beating since the offseason. And whether it's justified or not, that's,
Does Brady
that's
have his
another
number?
dialogue.
I wanted to go back to your prior question when you were talking about the quarterback and coach combination. I read about 10 articles in various newspapers, even East Coast newspapers, about the Philadelphia-Tampa matchup. Almost every article, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady. Not one, and I am not exaggerating, had anything about Hurts.
Jalen Hurts?
And I'm saying to myself, not that I'm a huge fan or either way, but I just found it really fascinating that nobody said anything about how Hurts has to play for Philadelphia to win. Yeah. All they talked about was how Tom Brady has to play.
Yeah, and that's a constant for all of us. Brady, we hear it every year. And you have to admit, all three of us sit here thinking, well, if Brady does it again, we're not going to be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And you wonder, does Brady have Green Bay's number?
Yeah. I kind of agree with you with the Green Bay thing. I mean, it's the shining star out there right now. They've been more consistent than everybody all year long. The NFL has been very inconsistent. There's been so many inconsistencies, but the one consistent has been Green Bay. And, even though they lost to Detroit, I mean, they didn't play a lot of guys in the second half.
Right.
And we understand. In Detroit's last game, and Dan Campbell wanted those guys to win that game. Green Bay just looks like an outstanding football team because, I believe – it's the combination of you have to have all three phases of the game. Offense, defense, and special teams have to be good. But a good quarterback with a good coach and a great defense, an adequate defense is probably going to do very well. If you look at it, there's always, I don't know about you guys, but there's always something in my mind that tells me that Green Bay's defense isn't that good. Is it good enough to win the Super Bowl? Hesitation
I don't
here.
see why not. I don't see why not. They've played. They lost 3 games all year, right? Is that right?
Yeah. 4.
Oh, that last.
They lost the last game.
Oh yeah, well,
but they still, got the home field advantage, which is throughout the playoffs. They don't have to play this week. A lot of guys get healed.
Sure.
That's a big advantage for them in Kansas City. But I continue to ask myself the same question. The same thing about Kansas City and Green Bay. Are their defenses good enough to win the Super Bowl?
I think Green Bay's defense is good enough to win, and I think they can also outscore anybody. And same thing with Kansas City. I'm not a huge Kansas City fan. I'm sort of hoping this is just more my heart, not my head.
Yeah.
That Tennessee does well.
I was just going to mention that. That was my next question, and you're ahead of me there. That's fantastic. Nobody's talking that much about Tennessee. Derrick Henry coming back is a big thing, and that 2 weeks off is a big thing. They've done well without him. Everybody said Tennessee's done it. Tennessee's going to fall apart without Derrick Henry. He's the man, and he is the man. But they've had a good running game. Tannehill has played very well, and I've always put Tannehill in the same class as Wentz, that they're average quarterbacks.
Yes.
And if there's a mistake to be made, they'll find a way to make it. And what's always saved Tannehill was Henry. But he proved different this year. He's been a different quarterback. Mm-hmm. He's looked, and he had moments of brilliance in Miami. He had some good seasons in Miami. But I think that all of us are leaving out the fact that Tennessee is very capable of winning the whole thing.
It's a solid team.
Yeah, I think they have Tannehill in a good system for him. They have good people around him, and I think they have a smart coach, and they're going to have that home field.
Yeah.
But they're getting very little respect.
Yeah, they really are, and everybody keeps thinking they're going to find a way to lose. I don't believe it. I believe after of course Belichick, that Mike Vrabel's the best coach in football, He's got a good roster there. His guys believe. Now there's a team that's got an outstanding defense.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me what the weaknesses are in Tennessee.
Well, I think people look and say Tannehill.
Yeah.
Defense, no.
I think this year Tannehill is going to step up. I really, really do. And that time off is going to be good for all of them. Again, they're very well coached. You know, the one wild card out there that in this wild card weekend, the Belichick element. What's your thoughts on? Is Belichick going to win? Is Belichick going to beat? Is Belichick going to beat the Bills? And we'll go through all these games in a minute.
I got sucked into betting New England in the Super Bowl back about 5 weeks ago because they had that big run going for them. I said, maybe he's going to pull it off again. But then they hit that Buffalo game in New England. They lost. Then they came back and took that other hit. But all of a sudden, you don't know. Belichick.
Yeah,
he's such a good coach.
Yeah.
And his defense, I think, is solid. But the last several games, they've been coming from behind all the time. And you just can't get there all the time.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
What's your thoughts on New England?
I think, obviously, Belichick is a fantastic coach, probably the best.
Best of the best.
And one thing is I really think Sean McDermott has an inferiority complex.
Yeah, he's not a great coach.
It comes to Belichick,
Yeah.
that he wants to show him, and
I see that in him every time they play.
Yeah,
and you're so right about that,
and I think ultimately that could screw them up.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that. When I've watched New England play Buffalo, McDermott, of course the Buffalo coach, is so different on the sidelines. He's like yelling at people, yelling at the refs, and I'm like, I don't see the same guy out there. And I wonder, again, we go back to the same old thing. Great coach, great quarterback. Takes you a long way. But, Buffalo is another team. We talk about the inconsistency of this year. Man, one week they look like they're the team. The next week they look like they can't beat the Jets. They can't beat themselves. They always beat themselves. I mean, there's something not right in Buffalo. I just feel it, but I don't know. And we'll go through all these games and give our opinions, but we just kind of wanted to recap for everybody what our thoughts are before we go through each game and give them out. Something's not right in Buffalo. That's how I feel. But, it's been a crazy season. Kansas City, the way they started, everybody's like, uh-oh.
Done.
It's all done.
Yeah. And look at where they're at.
Yeah. I mean, Tennessee didn't start great. I mean, and a perfect example is, a team that's on my radar, and you talk about the Raiders are on your radar and the Green Bay's on your radar, who's really on my radar is the 49ers.
Yep.
Yeah.
People don't realize that team had a lot of injuries. They got a very slow start. I mean, nobody thought the Niners were making the playoffs. They go out and, the Rams are trying to win that game at the Rams this last week, and the 49ers down 17-3 at half.
Came back.
I don't know how many of you 49er bettors thought the game was over, but they came back and they won that game. And I got to tell you, the Niners are a very capable team. Why? They got a good running game. Garoppolo is capable. He's another one that does some bonehead things. Capable, and they play great defense. I just always, for teams that are going to be going to the Super Bowl, for me it starts with a great defense. A great defense and followed again by a good, that quarterback that's capable and the coach that doesn't make coaching errors throughout games. But we want to go through these games, and I know our fans want to have your opinions. Again, Kenny the Phantom and Dennis Van, these guys they play every week. They understand the NFL. They study it. I mean, these two guys really, really are well prepared every week. They've both been extremely successful this season. Most seasons, I've known Ken for 20 years.
About 20 years.
And Ken has been doing, the unbelievable job for 20 years. So the thing about it is that they will give you some great opinions. They will help you. So let's see what happens here. Let's go through this. We're going to start with the Saturday games. The early game is Raiders versus Bengals. At Bengals 6.5 favorites.
The line's moved down. It's down to 5.5.
Down to 5.5.
5.5 this morning, I saw.
Well, my sheets that I got this morning from the casino said
I have 5.5.
It's 5.5.
Yeah. So they're taking the money's going on the Raiders, whatever that means.
What do you
Like I
guys
say,
think?
that I think they're going to play them tough.
Dennis?
I'll be betting the Raiders, yes. Since in the last 20 games, or 20 times this has happened, teams that are playing somebody with an equal or better record. So both of those teams are 10-7.
Yeah.
The team that's the underdog is 18-3
Wow.
against the spread.
Jeez.
There's some good information for you.
So,
Say that again.
In the last 21 times this has happened, when two teams that are playing in the wild card round have equal or the underdog has a worse record, they're 18-3 against the spread.
the underdog is.
The underdog.
That's an amazing stat. It's something for you all to think about. I will clearly tell both of you as I look at all these games. There's something, you guys know this, and I know that it goes into your gambling and your handicapping sometimes. When a team is on a roll and they're feeling it and you see it. I have never seen Carr so charged up and playing well. He's always been a guy that's made mistakes in games and found a reason to help the Raiders lose. I just feel that Derek Carr is just playing great football. And he's showing great leadership. And, Josh Jacobs, the great running back of theirs from Alabama, he's been hurt all year. He looked really good last week in that game. So I'm with you guys. All three of us, we like the Raiders, and we're going to take the 5.5 points.
One more stat on that. The over-under is 49 right now. And in the last,
These guys are prepared. I'm telling you, watch this show.
The over-under, the last 11 times a team with their opponent, which that means the Raiders' opponent, Cincinnati. Cincinnati last year had a losing record.
Yes, they did.
The over-under is 2 overs, 9 unders.
Wow.
Okay.
This whole round, the wild card round, is traditionally unders.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's a really good point, and you should all make note of that. Looking at this game, I believe this game is definitely going to go under. The Bengals, I tell you, I don't know how many of you watch the Raiders, but of late, that defensive front, the front seven, has just been lights out for the Raiders. They are playing really good football. And one of the things that I notice is when you catch the ball out there with the Raiders, they make the tackles. A lot of teams, they get 2 or 3 guys miss people, receivers out there. The Raiders have been tackling, and tackling is so important. But I think we all agree, and we all feel like we're in agreement that the Raiders are going to. I think they're going to win. I don't think they're just going to cover. I believe the Raiders are going to win that game.
You take a look at it, 49 points. That's 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Anyway, you look at it. So I don't see 7 touchdowns. I can see 5.
Yeah. And I don't think the Raiders are winning now in that beat 'em up fashion. Their games are not high scoring.
Correct.
I mean, again, a high scoring team like Indianapolis, they didn't have a lot of points in that game. It was, again, a low scoring game, and it was the under. I think the Raiders' last 3 games have been the under because I don't know if you got how much closely you watch the games, but that defensive end, the leader of that defense, that Max Crosby, is unbelievable.
He is.
He's as good as any defensive end. Maybe J.J. Watt is the best, but J.J.'s brother is the best over there in Pittsburgh. But wow, man, that Max Crosby's something else. So we all say Raiders.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm in.
The night game, Patriots at Bills. Bills favored 4.5.
Go ahead, man. You're up.
Okay. I lean towards New England
Okay.
for a couple reasons. Their coach.
Okay, well, the coach is always a given.
The other thing is the underdog factor. Last 10 times the underdogs just are there. When it's
The
seven
last
and
10
a half,
times?
when it's 7.5 or under, they are. Let me see. No, excuse me. Last 40 times, 17 and 33, the underdogs.
Wow.
And both those. The other thing is the over under I have is 44. Is that what you have, Ken?
Very close, yeah.
Both
I got
teams
43 and a half.
are only averaging giving up 17 and change per game.
Wow. That's, again, another good stat.
Well, plus you're
A
going
lot
to
of
have a
good
weather
information
issue.
here.
You
Yeah.
got to wait for the weather
So
reports.
definitely under.
I had to wait for the weather
Ken,
report.
are you thinking New England?
Well, I got so much respect for Belichick,
Yeah, and we all do.
and it's kind of like one of those things. You don't bet against Brady. I don't bet against Belichick.
I like it.
So
I'm going to go against both of you.
okay,
I'll say the Bills win by 10 or more.
Bills.
Wow.
I like to give points. Like Georgia, Alabama, I said Georgia would win by 10 or more. I felt very strongly about that. I just believe that one of the things I believe about the NFL is teams watch film like you can't believe. Constantly, players, coaches, assistants, people assigned to just watching film and finding tendencies with these teams. People have caught up with the Patriots, and they understand how to beat them. They understand how to handle Jones at quarterback. Teams have come to understand the Patriots' way. And Belichick may change that in the playoffs. The playoffs are a different animal. But I just think the Bills are ready to play a really good football game at home in front of their crowd, a night game. And I think the Bills will win by 10 or more.
Well,
What do you think?
I think that if New England gets behind, they're going to have a real tough time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I believe in teams trending. Teams are trending up, teams are trending down. The Patriots aren't trending up. They really are not trending up. Last year was a perfect example, and people weren't watching it closely. The Buccaneers were trending up, and they got on that winning streak. How many games in a row did they end up winning? All the way to the Super Bowl. They were trending up. They didn't play well the first half of the season. The Bills have been all over the place, but I think that in big games like this, Josh Allen has played in enough of them now and enough playoff games and done pretty bad in a lot of them. But I just think that the Bills, again, another good defense. I think McDermott's a good coach. I really like the Bills. So my two friends here are Patriots. I'm Bills. That's going to be interesting. We love to see who won.
Barf, barf.
Yeah, exactly. Both underdogs. So you got underdogs in both games
So
Yes.
far.
on Saturday.
So far.
So far, yes.
Okay, so let's look at Sunday.
All right.
The early game. Eagles, Buccaneers. Dennis?
I like Tampa.
9
right
points,
now,
though. Is that
I have 8.5
Yeah.
right now. And in the last 10 times, the point spread is 8 or higher in wild cards.
That's a lot of points.
The favorite is 9-1 against the spread, 10-0 on the money line. 3 games went over, 7 went under. You have 47.5 for.
I have on that game 40, 49, but it was yesterday's line. 49 I had.
I have 49 also.
Yeah, today
this is
I
from
looked.
Stations Casinos, so
I have 47.5.
yeah, and you just got that this morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these were probably printed last night, so that's definitely going to go over, don't you think?
Now, like I said, for me, under.
For you, under. Ken, under? Under
I
40?
got to say under also. Yeah, I think Philadelphia's defense has played decently.
They're a good defense.
But the only thing that scares me about Philadelphia is Hurts hasn't played in a playoff game yet, has he?
No.
So this is his first game out.
Yeah. In the NFL, yeah.
So
Played in plenty of them in college.
but NFL's a different ballgame.
Night
NFL
and day.
stands not for long.
I think, again, the Buccaneers are going to win that game easily. Jalen Hurts is the X factor, I believe. He's played really well, and as you were saying, people don't give him enough credit.
Yeah.
They don't talk about him enough. I think the kid's a good ball player.
Yeah.
He's got some good receivers there. He's got Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner from Alabama.
Well, they
He's
started
got
out
some good.
2-4 this year.
Yeah, another team.
There was another team that made a
Yeah.
great turnaround.
There was a lot of teams that did that. I just don't think. I kind of feel like there was a bunch of them that somebody was going to make the playoffs from the NFC. The Eagles ended up being the team, but I just don't think the Eagles are that good. The thing I really look at is look at the division. The division is so weak, and what you got to look at is teams that play in these strong divisions. Man, they're used to playing tough games every week. Over here, you got Washington, Philadelphia. I mean, come on. I mean, Dallas. We'll talk about Dallas more, but I'll leave my surprises for when we get to them. But we all agree that is it going to be the underdog or is it going to be?
I'm going Tampa.
Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. We all like Tampa. The next game up there on Sunday is. Ooh, I like this game. This is probably the game of the weekend. Cowboys -3 against the trending up 49ers.
I'm going with San Francisco.
I love it.
I think Garoppolo is good. I think he's smart. And as long as he doesn't get hurt he seems like he's maybe not 100%, but he's darn close.
He looked good against the Rams
and
in the second half.
I also think their coach, Shanahan,
yeah, that's correct.
seems a hell of a lot smarter than McCarthy does. McCarthy, there's times I see him on the sidelines, he looks like he doesn't know what the hell is going on or that he doesn't have control of stuff.
Yeah. I agree with you. I have believed that the greatest weakness in Dallas the last 2 years has been their coach.
Well,
I think
they've
McCarthy
only beaten.
he's not a good coach. And again, that division, you got to look at divisions and who you've played. Who has Dallas really beat?
They've only won 4 games against teams with winning records.
Yeah. I mean, just look at that division. I mean, and that's my problem with the Eagles. The division is so weak.
Correct.
I mean, all 4 teams I do not think are, and I believe, and Ken, I don't know what your thoughts are if you're along with Dennis and I, but I believe the 49ers are going to win that game outright.
I do too.
Wow, we got a lot of agreements
here, guys. If not, you get
guys.
some insurance in there with that.
That's dangerous. That's scary, folks. But, we like some underdogs here. You guys have 3 underdogs and 1 favorite. So far. Hey, hopefully a good underdog weekend. Now, I know everybody here, the night game is going with the Chiefs. Am I right, or is it too many points?
No, I like the Chiefs. Pittsburgh, just...
How did they make the playoffs?
Well...
The gods wanted Ben to have one more game.
I guess.
One more game for Ben. And boy, you talk about teams that got decimated. Baltimore this year, I mean...
Look at their last... How many games they lost by just a couple of points?
Baltimore just... Man, and their big boy, he just didn't have a good year. Hurt a lot. He missed the last 4 games. So, I mean,
it wasn't in the
Steelers
cards for
really,
them
again,
this year.
Another division think about their division. Pittsburgh and Cleveland. People were touted Cleveland for the Super Bowl like they have the last 3 years. I mean, this is the 3rd year in a row they said Cleveland's got a legitimate shot, and all you Cleveland fans, no disrespect, but
Baker needs to do a few less commercials.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I asked somebody, I said, how does Baker Mayfield get those progressive commercials? And they're cute, by the way. They're well done. But I'm like, how does this guy get this much TV coverage on commercials when he is really not a good quarterback? And they said they're banking their money on him next year.
Well, he's no Bob Uecker. He's not that bad, but...
Bob Uecker, what a name from the past. Wow. I love Bob. But, it's... again, you got to look at divisions. I think the Chiefs, to me, are going to win by 21 or more. And Pittsburgh may have a good enough defense to hang in that game. But at Chiefs, night game, Steelers traveling, barely made the playoffs. It might be tough for the first quarter. It might be a good game, but I think the Chiefs will get rolling, and they're taking this all serious. They're mad they didn't get that number 1 spot, but what do you think, Ken?
On paper, the Chiefs by far, but the unknown is I think every player out there for Pittsburgh is going to play a hard game, and if they play their hard game and get a break here and there, they could fall within the number. To win, I don't think so, but they could fall within that number.
Ken, I remember you telling me one time, and we've talked about this a lot in talking about NFL for so many years, at least 20. I think many times have told me, and I think it was you, that if an underdog is 10 points or more, always bet the underdog. Isn't that your philosophy?
The home team underdog.
The home team underdog
Getting 10
is
a solid bet.
Mm-hmm. How about the 13 points here? You think that the Chiefs are going to win, but they're not going to win by 13 or more?
I just think that the Steelers are going to play a hell of a game.
And again, it's about Ben, and again, another great coach. Mm-hmm. Tomlin is, you listen to that guy, I love him. He's a man's man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a player's coach. And, he talks about it. Hey, listen, this is a tough game, but we'll show up.
We'll be there.
And he'll come up with something because he's played in so many playoffs. I heard a stat like he's never missed the playoffs. Is that correct? In his time there?
Tomlin?
Yeah.
Well, I think you might be right. That's 10 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
I believe that he's never missed the playoffs. But
that I don't.
I'm pretty sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe he's never had a losing record.
It's
one
a
of those
losing
things.
record, I
think
know
he's
that.
never had a losing record in his time there. But he's a good coach.
Yeah, I think they missed him one time with him. One time.
So you're going to take the 13 points, Ken?
Yep.
And go with the Steelers. Dennis and I are going to we're going to go with the Chiefs, right?
Yes.
That's our deal. And then with all the money and the in the good graces that you have and the great weekend, then you're going to go over to Monday Night Football and bet who? The Rams -4.5 against the Cardinals.
I'm taking Arizona.
Please tell me why.
Just because of history.
And history tells you what? What do your analytics tell you there?
Take the underdogs when it's 7.5 and under for the point spread. When it's 8 and over, I take the favorites. And here's my thinking. It's like in baseball. You say you don't try and steal third with no outs or 2 outs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because what is there to gain?
Nothing.
For me, there's 6 games. If I'm right, 4 out of the 6, fantastic.
You had a great day. You had a great weekend.
Money.
You make money. 4 out of 6 is good.
Why I look at what happens historically and not trying to always with my head or with my heart.
Well,
rather,
you're very strong with analytics, and you have a lot of success. So, I mean, your philosophy is proven, and you give out a lot of winners. And tell our audience, by the way, how they can get a hold of you and how they can look at your picks this coming weekend, because I know they're going to be up here pretty soon.
Yes.
So let our audience know.
My website is vslasvegas.com, Vans Sports, and until April 1st, the start of baseball season, I'll be giving out all my plays for free. So please just visit the website. You can sign up via email, and you can also find me on Instagram. So either one of those, but website's the best just because you get it faster. I usually don't release the Instagram until a little before the game's going to start.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, very much so. And this is the reason that I wanted Dennis and Ken to be on. These guys are very successful prognosticators. I got to tell you, they are really good at it. Dennis has had incredible success giving out picks to people, and they're for free. So, I mean, so many of these sites are wanting your money, and that's what it's all about. Give us money, and we'll give you picks, and they're not any better than these two guys. And Ken, what do you think? I didn't ask you about this last game on Monday yet.
Taking Arizona.
You're both taking Arizona.
I'm taking Arizona for a couple of reasons. One, Kyler, I think, he's a running quarterback.
Yeah.
That's a big plus. He's a good, accurate passer. They've looked a little discombobulated the last couple of weeks. They're going to put it together. They're going to come after the Rams.
I would have to again disagree with both of you. This would be the third time, 3 out of 6. So we don't.
Not bad.
These guys are great at what they do. So you probably want to listen to them, but I'll probably go 6-0, just to be honest. But I think the Rams. Again, I'm about teams that are trending up and down. I have not seen the Cardinals playing great football. These are the things that I look at. They don't have a great passing game. So we're gonna make it on Kyler Murray running the football. They don't have great running backs. Connor's good down on the goal line for a 1-yard run or a 1-yard pass. not a great runner. He wasn't great in Pittsburgh. That's why he's still not there. But the biggest thing is the loss of DeAndre Hopkins, who I believed was the best receiver in football the last 5 years. The loss of DeAndre Hopkins is huge, to not have him out there at receiver. And A.J. Green, a good pickup for them, has not been the A.J. Green that you saw in Cincinnati. So I don't believe, for me personally, I don't believe the Cardinals can beat the Rams at the Rams. And again, I think the Rams try to find ways to lose. That's the one thing that bugs me. And we talk again, I know you can't stand Matthew Stafford. And I will tell you this, and I've watched this year, and I don't know if you guys noticed it. McVay hasn't been as good of a coach as he was previously. When he first came into the league, I think he came in by storm with his philosophy, got his players to buy into his philosophy. But the last couple of years, McVay hasn't been the same coach. And I think the league has caught up with him. I really do. I really do.
That, and when they lost that Super Bowl,
what was it, 9-6 or whatever?
Historically, when teams lose Super Bowl, it crushes them in certain ways.
Well, we saw that in Philadelphia, yeah.
I mean, I remember after the Raiders lost that Super Bowl to Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
The organization, yeah, they imploded. But for something telling me through it all that the Rams are still on that path. They got so many players. They went out and got these players, and you got to admit the Rams have a tough defense. But the funny thing about it is their weakness the fact that you can run on them? The 49ers were really running the football on them. And that was a formula in Week 10 when the 49ers beat the Rams. What did they run for 200-something yards? So is the Rams front not as good as we think? I mean, why are teams running on the Rams? Is it weakness at linebacker? I have a trouble telling you a good linebacker on the Rams. Most teams I can tell you this guy is great. Tampa Bay's got a couple of great linebackers. I have a trouble knowing who the names of the Rams linebackers are, and I think that may be their problem. Their second level of defense.
Could be.
So
I think Kyler Murray's going to come over the middle. There's going to be dink passes, not going long. Could be 10, 12 short passes.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to move the ball down
right
the field
behind linebackers, like a lot of them do. They get that zone,
down.
that middle zone there, that 8 to 10 yards. A lot of teams throw in that area. Mm-hmm. Think about how many teams hit on the long passes.
Yep.
It really doesn't happen. But I look at the Rams again, and I believe the best receiver in football this year is Cooper Kupp. He cannot be stopped. And I think the second best receiver is the kid Renfro with the Raiders. I mean, these are two small dudes who go out there and all they do is catch footballs and make touchdowns. Mm-hmm. And I think that the X factor for the Rams is going to be Cooper Kupp. And I believe they're going to run the ball better. Cam Akers is back. It was his first week back. He was out all year. That kid's a good running back. I just think that the Rams are ready to make that next move up, and it's going to be it's going to be fun. So how do you guys see it coming out? I mean, do you think that it's going to be the Rams and Bills in the Super Bowl? Do you think it's going to be Green Bay? Just give me a quick thought before we start the playoffs. I want to have, who do you guys think are going to be the two Super Bowl teams? And I know it's early, but next week we'll reevaluate again when we do this show.
I can't see.
Who's your two Super Bowl teams?
I can't see that far.
You can't see that far?
If I had to do it right now.
Can you see that far?
Well, I could give it a shot.
I'd give it a shot. I'd like both of you to give it a shot.
I would say Green Bay,
of course. Our fans want to know.
I would say Green Bay, of course, and Kansas City. And then I would say Green Bay winning the Super Bowl.
I think that's a pretty legitimate
That's
thought.
legitimate, and it's solid.
Yeah.
But if I were to say something now, looking for value, there's no value in those two teams unless you're going to bet a lot of money and so. But if you're looking for value, I'm going to go with San Francisco as my long shot in the NFC.
I like it. I think the Niners are well coached. They got a great GM in John Lynch. That's a really good football team. They're on the move. They got. I always say this, and I've said it on some of my shows when Jack and I have talked. To be a great football team in the NFL, it is essential that you have one or two great tight ends. Tight end is such an important component on teams, not only for passing for blocking. And of course, Gronk has always been an example of that. Well, the reason I'm making that point, because when you say San Francisco, I think George Kittle. Kittle, healthy, is as good as anybody.
Right.
And then you look at Kansas City, Kelsey. I mean, these guys are great tight ends,
Yes, they are.
and they changed the game because you have the ability to throw to a great tight end if you've got a couple of good wideouts or slot receivers and a good quarterback. And again, I keep thinking about that comment you made with the start about Matthew Stafford, and I keep thinking, man, he'll find a way to lose.
Well, the thing on that San Francisco too that got me is if the odds makers really said Dallas is that good, they'd have made them more than 3 points.
Yeah,
They only made them a 3.
it's a funny thing. Dallas is capable. I think coaching-wise, ownership-wise, the organization really bugs me. I don't want them to win, and I know we're here to analyze things properly. But I'll come right out and say if there's any team in the playoffs that I don't want to win, it's Dallas. I just don't like their owner, and I just lost a bunch of audience. Sorry, Dallas fans. Goodbye, Dallas fans. That's okay. We still got plenty more. So in review, let's recap this so our fans know.
Mm-hmm.
All three of us like the Raiders.
Correct.
Yes.
You two like the Patriots.
Yes.
Ken and Dennis like the Patriots. I like the Bills. That's our Saturday games. On Sunday, all three of us are going to give out those 9 points and take the Buccaneers 8.5, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
We all like the 49ers. We all like the Chiefs. Correct or no? Ken, did you like the
No.
Steelers?
Ken
I
likes
liked up the cover.
points.
You like the
Liked them
points.
to cover.
So we'll say Steelers. Dennis and I like the Chiefs. And in the last game, you both like the Cardinals and I like the Rams. So you got a potpourri there. It's great when we don't all agree. These guys are really, again, I can't emphasize enough. I love when I have great guests. And they were kind enough to come in. And, I'm going to ask them to come back again next week to analyze the next round because they're so good at what they do. And if they have the time, they will. They're very busy guys with a lot of sports fans that follow them and on the internet constantly. But I want to thank you both for coming in. This is meaningful to me because you are the pros. So, Dennis, thank you for coming in.
Welcome.
Tell these people one more time how they can get a hold of you.
My website is vansportsvslasvegas.com. I just want to say one other thing.
Please.
I like all the unders in the games.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Hey, that's a good one right there. That's a good way to finish the show up today. He likes all the unders, and he knows. And Kenny, I know nobody can get a hold of you because that's why they call you the Phantom.
But let me say one thing.
Yeah.
This starts the second season of football, right?
Oh, this is the best season of football.
For this-
Send the kids and the wives to the mall and give them some money to go shopping and eat so you can watch football for 3 days.
I've always liked the one John Madden statement: "The lame will walk and the blind will see." For this,
Say it again,
the
Ken.
lame will walk and the blind will see.
Whatever that means to your betting trends, I don't know.
Nothing
But,
to the betting trend, but your players are going to be there to play.
Enjoy it. Again, it's a potpourri. We're sorry Jack's not here. I know he's got some opinions, and we missed that. But family called, and he had to be out of here. But it's going to be fun. Thank you both very, very much. It's with
Thanks for
great
the invite.
gratitude
Appreciate
it.
that I thank you for coming in.
See you next
Good
week.
luck. Good luck. Make some money. We'll talk next week.
Deal.
Thank you all for watching. Enjoy your weekend. Again, give the wife and kids some money. Send them to the mall. But hey, what I'm saying, while I'm saying that, there's a lot of wives who like NFL, right? Fantasy
course.
football players. So, I'm probably wrong there. Send your husbands to the mall. Whatever you do, enjoy the NFL. Have fun. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Man, enjoy it. God
See you
bless.
next
See you
week.
soon. Have a good rest of the week. God bless.